Hey buds, how's it going? I am MC, and in this video, I'm back to draw another astrological sign inspired by random prompts. If you haven't seen the first video that I did for this series, basically what I do is I have my prompt jar here that I select 3 prompts from at random, and then once I have those prompts, I reach into this mug to select one of the 12 astrological signs. So this mug currently has 11 astrological signs. The only one that's missing right now is for Capricorn, because that was the sign that I pulled for my first video, which I will link up in the info card if you're interested in going to watch it. But yeah, just a brief explanation of what's going on here. And without further ado, let's get into the fun part of pulling the prompts, and we'll see what direction this drawing is about to go in. First one is pool floaties. The second one is overalls. And the third one is pig. Okay, so the next thing is the sign. What sign is a pig wearing pool floaties and overalls? Gemini. Okay, so Gemini is a pig wearing pool floaties and overalls. Really weird, it makes no sense, and I'm excited to start. Yeah, let's get into the drawing. Alright, so pig, pool floaties, and overalls are the prompts that we're working with for this Gemini drawing. I think slightly more straightforward prompts for this one than what I got for the Capricorn illustration in the last video. In that video, I pulled the prompt flying, which kind of made my brainstorming process a little more interesting because what flying meant was kind of left up to my own interpretation. And for this one, it seemed pretty obvious that a pig would just be wearing some overalls and pool floaties. And thinking about it now, I guess another option would have been to have a pig in overalls floating on like one of those big pool floaties, like one of the ones that's shaped like a flamingo or something like that, which, I don't know, that might have been a little bit more of an interesting or dynamic idea for this. But when I pulled the prompt, my first thought was very much like the water wings that you'd wear as a kid. When I was drawing this one and thinking back to the Capricorn illustration, I did think about how there was a lot more going on in that drawing, whereas this one is just very focused on the figure itself. Like the possum is a lot smaller because of the jetpack and the action of the drawing with all the smoke and stuff. So I don't know, maybe the pig actively floating on something for this drawing would have looked a little bit better side by side with that one. But who knows, when I finish these 12 illustrations and see them side by side, maybe there will be one that I feel like I can improve on or have a better idea for. But I do really like the pig that I've drawn here. I just really like this to be a very cohesive series at the end of it, so I don't know, maybe I'll end up with a better idea and want to go back and rework some of these drawings. It could also just be really interesting to see how many ideas I could come up with or how I could stretch that creativity for the same 3 prompts. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I do really like this pig, so at the moment I'm not really considering changing it just yet. But since I started working in color, I still feel a bit like when I pick up a pencil to sketch out one of the ideas for these drawings, I almost have no idea what it's going to come out looking like. And while that kind of feels limitless and almost makes me feel good about kind of just feeling pretty versatile as an illustrator, I'm definitely still very much looking for a style that shows up in every one of my illustrations that's very much my own thing, and I just haven't found that consistency yet. But like I said, I do really like this pig. I think she's really cute, and it actually reminded me of my first drawing that I did using the prompt jar last year of a raccoon. Raccoon. It's very regal. It's the fancy version of a raccoon. It actually reminded me of the first drawing I did using this prompt jar last year of the raccoon. And the style of it actually reminded me a lot of my first drawing that I did using the prompt jar last year of a raccoon. Why? But like I said, I do really like this. I was going to call her a raccoon. The drawing I did of the fall winter themed raccoon. How have I just forgotten how to say raccoon? Raccoon sounds weird now. Raccoon sounds better. The style of it actually really reminded me of my first drawing that I did using the prompt jar last year. It was the drawing of the autumn wintry raccoon, which I love. I love that drawing, and now I kind of have the spring and summer version of it with this pig. I said raccoon right. I'm very proud of myself. I think they look very similar and just kind of look like they're from different seasons in the same universe. So that does go against what I was just saying about the consistency that I'm looking for. But I think that means that even though I really like these two drawings, if I were to think of a style that I wanted to be known for, this probably wouldn't be it. But even though, again, I really do like these two drawings and I had a lot of fun with both of them. But yeah, for this one, I thought it was a really good opportunity to make it really bright and have a lot of fun with the colors. Like I said, for this one, I just kind of pictured a really straightforward pig wearing overalls and pool floaties. And at first, in my original sketch, I did think about making the ring around her waist some sort of animal floaty, but then I kind of thought if I did a chicken or something, it might just end up taking away and distracting a little bit too much from the real prompt of pig. So she just got the water wings and a simple ring around her waist. And after I finished the initial sketch, I thought about adding the goggles on her head as well. It just kind of felt like a lot of empty space without anything up there, and I also thought she just kind of looked like she was just walking around with pool floaties on and not actually going swimming. So I guess I thought I'd add the goggles to make her look a little bit more water ready. Her wearing pool floaties on dry land made less sense in my head than her wearing overalls in the pool, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the thought process behind this one. It was pretty straightforward, like I said, not very hard to come up with an image in my head pretty quickly. And if I'm revealing my secrets of how I use the prompt jar, I had a very unlucky time pulling the prompts for this video, so it was nice that what I finally ended up getting was just a nice and easy drawing, so I could just have fun with it right away. When I'm pulling the prompts, it is entirely at random. I don't cheat at all. The only thing I do that could maybe be considered as cheating is giving myself unlimited rolls. But every time I pull the prompts, I only pull 3, and those 3 are married to each other. If they go back into the jar, they all go back in together. I don't do any switching or trading them in and out if I like 2 of them and not the third. All 3 prompts need to be pulled at the same time, and because it is entirely random with a bunch of stuff in the jar, sometimes those prompts really do suck. And I just want to say quickly that I really hate the word prompts. It's a lot like the word moist for me, and I've created this tool for myself that I really like using, but it makes me have to say that word all of the time, and I start to annoy myself. But anyway, the prompts will make absolutely no sense together, or maybe they would for somebody else, but for me, they just spark no inspiration at all. Or with these astrology illustrations as an example, I need an animal as the base for the drawing, so I have to keep pulling until I get an animal and 2 other things that work together. And for this video, I had no luck at all. I actually wish I tallied how many times I pulled from the jar, because I bet it was 50 times, and that honestly feels like lowballing it. I've never had such bad luck with it that I actually had to leave it and come back the next day because I was just so exhausted by 2 hours of endlessly pulling and getting disappointed. But the second day was much better, and I got these prompts pulled pretty quickly, and everything was pretty easy after that. It was just a pain in the ass getting there. My only complaint about this drawing is that I really need to figure out how to do my bright white highlights. I feel like it would be such a satisfying end to a video to show myself just dotting in those little areas, very much like the cherry on top kind of deal. But I always end up turning off the camera because I really just have no idea what I'm doing. I end up wiping things away or drawing over what I've done, but I'm just gonna keep trying, and hopefully one day I'll figure out how I want things to look and what actually looks good. But if you haven't seen my last video in this series, the only other video in this series so far, after I talked about my drawing a little bit, I took some time to research and learn a little bit about the sign that I'm doing the illustration for, because I'm a sacrilegious lesbian that actually knows nothing about astrology. But I've decided not to do that for this video. I'm going to do something different because, if I'm being honest, I really cannot bring myself to care about astrology at all. I did think it would be fun to look up and learn about something entirely new, but it's not fun. Personally, it's just not interesting to me at all. But what is interesting to me is the astrology and story behind the signs and their origins. So that's what I decided to research for this video. And honestly, I really don't know why that wasn't just my original idea. I'm very sorry that Capricorn didn't get a more interesting voiceover. I might have to change that in the future. So if the video for Capricorn linked to this one has no mention of the personality traits of a zodiac sign, it means I went back, re-recorded something, edited, and fixed it. But yeah, let's get into the actual fun part now. Gemini is the sign represented by the twins Castor and Pollux. They are the sons of a woman called Leda, and Leda and the Swan is a very popular subject in a lot of Renaissance and Baroque art. It depicts the scene from Greek mythology where Zeus comes down from Olympus disguised as a swan so that he can seduce and assault Leda and impregnate her. And during the Renaissance, this was a very popular scene because it was believed to be like less vulgar or graphic or something, to show a human and an animal involved in a sexual encounter rather than two humans, which I do not think so. Personally, I generally find paintings and sculptures of Leda and the Swan really icky. I generally really don't like them, and I find them pretty disturbing. They're always really well done and beautifully painted and delicate, but yeah, they're just so weird. I really hate them. But during this encounter with Zeus, Pollux and his sister Helen of Troy are conceived, and then later in the same day, Leda and her mortal husband, Tyndareus, the king of Sparta, conceive Castor and their sister Clytemnestra. And the scientific term for this is heteropaternal superfecundation, which is a lot of fun to say. And then all the babies hatch from eggs. So the boys grow up, and one of their first tests as heroes would be to rescue their sister Helen after she was kidnapped by Theseus and taken to Athens. So the boys lead a Spartan army into Attica to rescue her, which they did successfully, and in the process, they also abduct Theseus's mother as payback. Both brothers were skilled horsemen, both participating in the hunt of the Caledonian boar, which was a monster that was sent by Artemis to destroy the city of Caledon after the king didn't properly sacrifice to her. Castor is more well known for his skill with horses, while Pollux was a highly skilled boxer. And as well as being side characters in the Caledonian boar hunt, they're also characters that were part of the crew of the Argo with Jason in his search for the Golden Fleece, where the twins showed their skill as sailors, being able to navigate the Argo through a really bad storm. So two brothers that were really close and went on lots of adventures together. And later on, they would team up with their cousins Idas and Lynceus, but this would lead to the end of the twins' stories. It doesn't seem like the brothers got along too well with their cousins, and a couple arguments between the two sides caused the breakdown of their relationship. Basically, Castor and Pollux stole their cousins' girlfriends and had a couple of sons with them. Idas and Lynceus stole the twins' share of some cattle the group had previously stolen together, And I guess who cares about the betrothed wives that the twins stole, because the cattle are really the straw that broke the camel's back. This really pissed off the twins. They felt cheated out of their share of the cattle, even though I think they lost a competition to their cousins, which allowed their cousins to take the full share of the cattle. But like I said, twins were pissed, so they planned their chance to steal the cattle back. On an evening where they knew that their cousins would be busy, brothers go to the pasture where the cattle are being kept. Castor keeps watch while Pollux begins freeing the cattle, and they're caught by their cousins. Castor calls to warn Pollux as he's attacked by Idas and fatally wounded. Pollux is able to fight back, killing Lynceus. And Pollux is very lucky that he was the brother with Zeus for a dad, because as Idas is going to attack Pollux, Zeus protects his son and zaps Idas, killing him instead. The sources we have for the stories of Castor and Pollux are Homer, Hesiod, and Pindar, and they're all a little different. In some versions, both boys are immortal. In other versions, both boys are mortal. And the story that we have that kind of evolved into the one that gives us the backstory for the constellation is the one where we have one brother being immortal and the other one being mortal. So as Castor lays dying, Pollux asks Zeus to make his brother immortal so they can always be together. And so Zeus puts both brothers in the sky as the constellation Gemini. And that's the end of the story. That was much more fun for me to research than a basic explanation of what someone was born around May or June might be like. And yeah, overall, I'm super pleased with this drawing. I think it's really bright and colorful and fun. I think she's a pretty cute pig, and I really can't wait to do another one of these. I'm still so excited to see what they all look like side by side. I said in my other video that when an artist does illustrations for astrological signs, I'm always so curious to see what each one is. I want to know how mine sizes up to the other signs, and if I should be jealous of another one that got a better illustration than mine did. And I feel like I'm having that same feeling through this process. I'm so excited to see what comes out of the prompt jar next, and I really want to know what they're all going to look like. I want to know what mine looks like, and I hope it's better than all of the other signs. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this series so far, and I hope you are too. But for now, I think that's it for me for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the mini mythology storytelling in this one better than the astrology facts, because I know I did. So please enjoy the rest of the video. Take care, and you'll see me in the next one.